Hello and welcome to Outdoors Nat. In this video I'm going to be going through how to pack your pack when you've got beginner gear and how to pack your pack when you've got expert gear. Different ways you can do things. I've also got a much larger pack for the beginner and a much smaller pack for the expert. These objects are going to be smaller and lighter than our beginner gear counterparts. I've also roughly set it up for 3 seasons in Australia and to be able to cook and sleep 2 people without any trouble. Just looking at our common gear in the middle, we have a fleece jumper, set of thermals, toilet kit, first aid kit, extra bits and bobs, and a drink bottle. So these are going to be put in both packs, and then I'll also pack the beginner gear, so everything from there will go in the beginner pack, and then I'll put everything from here in the expert pack and see how we go in fitting it all in. We've got one thing that we need to decide first off. Are we going to put our roll mat on the inside or the outside of the pack? We will try on the inside because it makes for a much neater and nicer look, and you can already see that this one is pretty bunged up from being scraped by things. I'm actually going to undo my roll mat and use it a bit like a pack liner on the inside. To do this, I've put it in rolled up first, and then I'm spreading it around the very outside edge of the pack, and that will make a nice big tube for us to fill up. So the final part of this process is, you can see my layers in there. What I want to do is put my arms down these sides, spread out that layer as much as I can, and then I'll spread out the inner layer as much as I can, so we're keeping all the volume. Alright, next thing that I'm going to put in is my tent and sleeping bag. 2 ways you can do this, just depending on the shapes. You can put them in side by side like this, but then we're going to have to make sure we put a bit more weight on this side to even up the load, or we can stack them one on top of each other like that, or finally we can stack them like this with our tent in the center and then spread gear down either side. We've got our sleeping bag and tent in. Right, so next one I'm going to do is I'm going to put our stove, and I'm going to try and slip it down one side of the tent like this. So we've got our stove in the side, you can see it in there. And then we're going to put our fuel, put that on the opposite side to our stove. So with our first aid, that's been waterproofed. Our clothes, you can put them in with your sleeping bag. It's actually a really good option to waterproof them that way, but I'm just going to put them on top and we'll see how much space we've got left over. Poop kit. Finally, bits and bobs, and I'm going to tuck them in the hood of the pack. Plenty of little gaps. We can also put our food in around there. Still quite a bit of pack left up the top, plus our gusset. What have we got in this pack? We've got a full-size tent, we've got a synthetic sleeping bag down the bottom, we've got a whole trangia for 4 people in one side, we've got a 1 litre fuel bottle in the other side, we have first aid, we've got clothes, we've got our bits and bobs bag, we've got our poop bag. So really pretty well loaded up, and there's plenty of space. Haven't used outside pockets, hardly used the top compartment here, and that's how to pack a pack for a beginner. Now we've got our expert items, all the same components, but in smaller, lighter weight versions, but we're going to fit them into a 40 litre pack and see how we go. Same principles apply. We want to have the weight nice and close to the center of the back, and things that we need to access early on top and things that we want to access last down the bottom. In this one, I'm going to put my sleeping bag, tent, like that, and that's going to make up the bottom layer. Then we'll have our mat and other bits and bobs on top. Alright, so I've got my sleeping bag and tent down the bottom. I've still got a bit of space in the bottom here, so I might slip that in the front. That's my roll mat, nice and light. Alright, so I just put the roll mat in, and that's made some gaps on either side of that one. So I'm going to fill it up with my clothes. Poop kit. Alright, we're up to our last bit. So we've got first aid, that's going to sit on the top and the side, and my cooking kit. And you can see there's actually heaps of room inside this, and I do fill it with all my food for the evenings and the day as well, so use up all that space. And then again, bits and bobs, I'm going to put that in the top. I pack this up, you can see it's a little bit fuller, but there's actually plenty of room still all through this mint section. This is my first aid kit, and the stove are not very square items, and so there's plenty of space to pack all our food, any extra bits around the top. Still do up the drawstring without any troubles, and so that's all our items in a 40-litre pack, all set, ready to go. So with our packing, we want to have our items nice and close to the back and also in the center of the pack, and that's going to make it the nicest and easiest and comfiest to carry. So that was how to pack a beginner versus expert pack, and hope you enjoyed the video. Check out my other ones. Thanks for watching.